Clark has landed herself a new, very high-profile position, and I've been wondering when this was going to happen. I knew at some point, somewhere, with some miscellaneous media outlet, Caitlin Clark would get a gig, and now we know where that gig's going to be, when that gig's going to be, and who that gig's going to be.
Caitlin Clark just made a move that caught everyone off guard. Instead of signing with the usual suspects like ESPN or Turner, she's joined NBC Sports as a special contributor for their new flagship show, Basketball Night in America. The timing of this is everything. Right now, the WNBA Players Union is in a tense standoff over a new contract, even hinting at sitting out the 2026 season. Yet, in the middle of all that uncertainty, the league's biggest star just secured a major deal that keeps her front and center during the offseason. It's a clear sign of where the power lies in the sport today. While the league's future is being debated, Caitlin is busy building her brand and staying relevant without missing a beat.
You know, I don't know how much. There's no CBA right now. And this, of course, would run through, at least May, in theory. I don't know. We don't have any dates that stretch that far yet. I still think they're going to get the CBA.
February 1st is the date everyone needs to circle on their calendar. That's when Caitlin Clark officially makes her debut as an analyst for NBC, right before the Lakers and Knicks face off at Madison Square Garden. She'll also be back on March 29th for the Thunder versus Knicks game. These aren't just any games. They're two of the biggest matchups in the NBA. NBC isn't giving her a trial run on a quiet Tuesday night. They're putting her front and center alongside Hall of Famers like Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady. This move is a massive statement about her star power. Even though she's never done professional TV analysis before, the network knows that where Caitlin goes, the audience follows. It's a bold crossover that proves she isn't just a WNBA star. She's a permanent fixture in the entire world of basketball.
There is a new CBA agreed upon. Before then, again, I've told you guys, I've got the over-under on February 15th. I just have a feeling. That's just my gut feeling that when push comes to shove, again, I believe a lot of players.
This is where the story gets really interesting. The current WNBA contract is set to expire in late 2025, and players are already hinting at a possible strike or lockout if their demands for better pay and conditions aren't met. But while the league's future is up in the air, Caitlin Clark has essentially recess-proofed her career. By signing this deal with NBC, she secured a steady income and a massive platform that carries her all the way through May 2026. Think about the position she's in. March 2026, she'll be suiting up for USA basketball in the World Cup qualifiers in Puerto Rico. Spring 2026, she'll be a regular face on NBC's biggest NBA broadcasts. Independent leverage, she isn't just waiting around to see what the Players Union decides. She has built a brand and a career that exists entirely outside of the WNBA's internal battles. Whether the 2026 WNBA season starts on time or not, Caitlin Clark will still be the most visible person in the sport. This gives her an incredible amount of power. She doesn't need the league to stay relevant. The league needs her.
We want to sign the deal. But that long wait doesn't mean Caitlin Clark has been away from the game. In fact, she notably suited up for USA Basketball Training Camp in December, has expressed her dedication for participating in all-team USA events with FIBA World Cup looming in September and qualifiers taking place in March. So she has and will get the needed reps before finally taking the floor again with the Fever. In the meantime, she will be keeping...
NBC didn't just hire Caitlin to talk about basketball. They hired her because she is a massive draw for audiences. We see this with Sunday Night Football, which is the network's most successful program. Its pre-game show, Football Night in America. Now, NBC is using that exact winning formula to launch Basketball Night in America. By putting Caitlin on a panel with Maria Taylor and NBA legends like Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Reggie Miller, NBC is making a major statement. They aren't just looking for a guest speaker. They're placing her name alongside the greatest to ever play the game. It shows they believe she truly belongs on that stage and has the insight to match her star power.
Wow. So this would be akin to, they have Sunday Night Football, and it starts with a pregame show called Football Night in America. I didn't know they were creating Basketball Night in America, but here we...
What NBC is actually buying is a bridge. Starting with the 2025-26 season, they hold the rights to both the NBA and the WNBA. By hiring Caitlin, they've secured the only person who can naturally pull both audiences together. Think about it. She can bring casual fans into the WNBA world and, at the same time, draw women's basketball fans into NBA coverage. While her basketball knowledge is top tier, this deal is really about her unique ability to make people pay attention. She doesn't just play the game. She makes it a must-watch event for everyone. The big picture, a unified audience. NBC is using her to blend the two fan bases into one massive basketball community. Beyond the stats, it's not just about her high IQ on the court. It's about her magnetic personality that keeps people glued to the screen. A new standard. This move proves that Caitlin is more than an athlete. She is a media powerhouse who can influence how we watch the sport for years to come.
Despite his limited role, simply having Jordan as part of the coverage created buzz. NBC is surely hoping Caitlin Clark's involvement will do the same. Of course, Caitlin Clark is expected to offer unique insights in assuming the analyst role for the first time, and her basketball IQ cannot be questioned. So the transition will be a seamless one for the Indiana Fever's star point guard. NBC will also have WNBA coverage for the upcoming 2026 season, so Caitlin Clark will surely appear.
Sam Flood, the executive producer at NBC, didn't just call Caitlin Clark a great player. He called her one of the most captivating stars in all of basketball, regardless of gender. That phrasing is key. It shows that NBC isn't treating her as a special interest story. They see her as a world-class athlete who has the authority to break down the game for any audience. But this move highlights a growing divide in the sport. Caitlin's 2025 season was cut short by a series of injuries in July, meaning she will have been off a WNBA court for about 10 months by the time the next season is supposed to start this May. While she's been recovering, she hasn't exactly been off. Between her endorsements, her upcoming USA basketball commitments, and now this NBC deal, she is staying busy, visible, and well compensated.
Let's go over here. This is the official from NBC Sports, the press release. And it basically does say the same thing. However, Caitlin Clark is going to join the studio team of Maria Taylor. She also hosts Football Night in America with Chris Sims and Mike Florio, Rodney Harrison, Tony Dungy, and Jason Garrett. Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady for pregame.
The upcoming contract negotiations are going to be intense. Players are pushing for better pay, more comfortable travel, and a larger share of the league's earnings. On the other side, team owners are pointing at the numbers, arguing that the massive growth the league is seeing is mostly driven by a few top stars. And Caitlin Clark is the prime example. In just one season, she turned the Indiana Fever from an overlooked team into a must-watch sensation. Everyone in the industry knows it, and NBC is leaning into that reality. By putting her on their biggest basketball show before she's even retired her sneakers, they're making several big bets. Fan loyalty. They believe the millions who watch her play will follow her to the commentator's desk. Broad appeal. They're betting her name recognition reaches far beyond just WNBA fans. Instant credibility. Having her there makes their coverage more attractive to major advertisers. For the league owners, Caitlin is exhibit in the argument that a few individuals are responsible for the WNBA's newfound wealth. For NBC, She is the key to making their new basketball brand a success. It's a high-stakes move that proves once again that Caitlin Clark isn't just part of the game. She's the one changing how the business of basketball works.
That's very interesting. By the way, you can watch these online at Peacock, on the Peacock app, which is NBC's official app out there, and I've got it because, well, there's some decent stuff on Peacock. There's movies, there's a couple of old series I watch on there, and WWE Saturday Night Main Event is on there.
This isn't just a career move. It's a massive statement about how the power dynamics are shifting. For a union to be effective, everyone has to be on the same page. But Caitlin Clark has just shown that she has a path that doesn't rely on the WNBA at all. Think about her options. Media. She has a major network role with NBC. National pride. She has high-profile commitments with USA Basketball. Brand power. She has massive endorsement deals, including a life-changing partnership with Nike. While most players are feeling the heat of potential lost wages during a strike, Caitlin is already financially secure for generations. She is launching a media career in her early 20s while still at the top of her game. The real question is, how hard will she push for changes that mostly help the players at the bottom of the roster? Most WNBA players are fighting for basic improvements like better travel and small raises. Caitlin, however, is operating in a completely different world. Does she stand in total solidarity with the union, or do her unique opportunities change the way she approaches the bargaining table? Either way, she has created a level of individual leverage that we've never seen before in women's sports.
This is interesting. You notice ESPN did not jump in. You know, I don't see anything from USA Network on here. I mean, pretty safe to say they wasn't going to put her on a panel with Elle Duncan, I wouldn't think. Who knows? I mean, you never know with media outlets.
NBC is essentially taking out an insurance policy with this move. By hiring Caitlin Clark, they've protected themselves regardless of how the WNBA's labor disputes play out. If the 2026 season is delayed or canceled, they still have the sport's biggest draw on their airwaves talking about the NBA. If the season proceeds as planned, they already have their star commentator ready to transition into WNBA coverage. This is a long-term play. If Caitlin is as natural on camera as she is on the court, NBC has just cultivated a media personality who could lead their sports programming for the next 2 decades.
Until next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.
Choosing NBC over a giant like ESPN is a calculated move that speaks volumes about Caitlin Clark's long-term strategy. For years, ESPN has been the traditional home for the WNBA, but it's also a crowded space with an established hierarchy. By joining NBC, Caitlin isn't just another name on a roster. She's a founding member of their new basketball identity, the insurgent strategy. NBC is currently the new kid on the block after winning back NBA rights. They are building their brand from the ground up, and by being there for the launch of Basketball Night in America, Caitlin gets to help shape the voice of the network. Peacock Power. NBC is betting big on streaming. By being the face of their Peacock coverage, Caitlin is meeting younger fans exactly where they are, rather than sticking to the old-school cable model. Ownership of the brand. At ESPN, she'd be one of many. At NBC, she is the bridge between the NBA and the WNBA, giving her a level of influence she wouldn't have anywhere else. The potential backlash. This move isn't without risk. If the WNBA season ends up being delayed due to the ongoing contract disputes, and Caitlin is on TV every week covering the NBA, critics will notice. Some will argue she should be focusing entirely on the women's game or using her platform purely for labor activism. While those critiques are likely coming, they miss the bigger picture. Every time Caitlin appears on a major network, she keeps basketball and her own massive audience engaged. When the WNBA finally returns, she'll be bringing an even larger, more diverse group of fans back with her. NBC is betting on a virtuous cycle. They believe that the more we see Caitlin Clark analyzing NBA stars, the more we'll want to see her dominate on the WNBA court. It's a win-win strategy. Her basketball IQ is universal, and her presence keeps the spotlight on the sport year-round. All eyes are now on her February 1st debut at Madison Square Garden. You couldn't ask for a bigger stage. Lakers versus Knicks, with icons like LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the building. If Caitlin delivers sharp, unique insights while sitting next to legends like Carmelo Anthony and Vince Carter, it's a massive victory for her and the league. However, the stakes are incredibly high. If she seems nervous or out of her depth, critics will jump on the too much, too soon narrative. It's an unfair standard. No one is a pro on their first night, but that's the reality of being the world's most talked about athlete. If Caitlin Clark is the reason NBC is investing in the WNBA, if she's the one driving record ratings and ticket sales, it raises a tough question. Shouldn't she be paid more than players who don't have that kind of impact? If you say yes, you're challenging the very rules that protect every other player in the league. The NBA faced this same issue decades ago with Michael Jordan. His value was way beyond what the salary rules allowed. So the league found creative workarounds and massive endorsement deals to pay him while keeping the fair play rules on paper. Now, the WNBA has to find its own version of that solution, a new economic reality. When Caitlin debuts on NBC this February 1st, you aren't just watching a basketball player try out a new hobby. You're watching the future of the sports economy in real time. This is a test to see if a WNBA star can build a massive media career while she's still an active player. NBC is betting that the Caitlin Clark effect isn't just a phase. It's a brand they can build around for years. NBC is taking a calculated gamble on an optimistic future. They are betting that Caitlin Clark's WNBA career and her new media role won't just coexist, but actually make each other stronger. The goal is a virtuous cycle where fans watch her analyze NBA games on Sunday and then tune in to watch her play on Friday, keeping basketball and Caitlin at the center of the cultural conversation year-round. Her debut this Sunday, February 1st, is the ultimate litmus test. Lakers versus Knicks at Madison Square Garden is the biggest stage in sport. If she provides sharp, unique insights that change how we see the game, it's a massive win for everyone. But if she falls back on safe, generic commentary, it could fuel the argument that she's being pushed into the spotlight too soon.